based on all of the feedback, the likes, the views on my recent League of Legends videos, it is obvious that you guys actually rather enjoyed it. And so I'm actually more than happy to do another video. And this time I'm going to be doing the complete deep dive of the timeline with Nuxanor. My bad, I meant to say Nuxtaku because, you know, he put it on his main channel rather than his slop channel. Regardless, I wanted to watch it because the video we watched, if you remember, or if you don't watch TLDR, it was a video about basically the overarching story of League of Legends rather than like the timeline or any specific character or place. It was just basically what happened, and in my own words, the summary was that there exists these watchers outside of the reality that me and you would live in, or at least the legends inside of the story. The watchers are these like Lovecraftian type entities that basically hated reality. They wanted to destroy reality, and literal god or gods basically are actually having their fingers in tempting and messing with humanity to, not directly, I don't think it was proven directly, but basically indirectly make humanity stronger, or whatever the species is called in League of Legends, but make humanity stronger to fight off the watchers basically. And I'm assuming it's way more than that. It was only a 20-minute video, so you know, of course that can't be everything. With that said though, we're gonna get more in depth and not just have a random summary of me talking. So yeah, let's watch that. We're gonna watch that. Yep.
Gentlemen and female gentlemen, Lord Nuxalor hath returned. Today we are
and Lord najeeslays
line of League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra, Arcane. We are doing the whole.
Oh, and the main reason why I'm doing this, by the way, is because I really want to watch Arcane. And I know I don't have to do this, but personally, I just feel like it would mean more to me knowing about the overarching story of League of Legends before Arcane.
Whole timeline, all the nations, all the eras, all the history, all the politics, all the characters. We're gonna do our deepest of dives right.
Yes, me and Nuxanor. Yeah.
Now, as we speak,
us together. We're in this together.
He's been my recommended source for League of Legends lore.
I also watched the
and we are doing the full
stuff too, and I could have swore he did the same thing for the Lovecraftian stuff.
Freaking lore dive into
and
League
the
of Legends
Warhammer.
right
Maybe
now.
I'm wrong.
10,000 likes, and I will do lore dive.
And 5 likes only for me. That's the best part. Only 5 likes for me, and I'll keep doing it.
To individual champions. Highly requested one is Jin. I don't know who that guy is, but apparently he's a psychopath, which is a good sign. I like psychopaths.
Interesting.
So, let's do a dive, baby. Let's see what it's all about.
If you've been around the channel for a while, you know
I have not.
that this isn't the first time that we are making a timeline for League of Legends.
That is interesting.
I did not know that, but okay.
We made the first one before Universe even existed. During these dark times, we had to look for the lore in the client. And in the worst case, we had to snoop around the internet because Riot hid their stories on separate websites. And
I mean, that makes
on top
sense.
of that, half of the champions
Well, I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I guess I get it because most games and companies don't want to create a actual like timeline and stuff because they don't want to confirm things. Let the audience just decide themselves. That makes sense.
even have canon story.
Damn. Wow. It's crazy to see how much League of Legends evolved. Right? Like, this video is 5 years old, but like
5
even
years?
even then, there was nothing. It's so crazy to me because Arcane is really a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
It definitely is a masterpiece. I haven't even watched it, and I've heard so many people talk about how great it is, and that I really, truly, sincerely need to watch it. So, yeah. I know. I definitely know.
One tiny aspect of the greater world of League of Legends is so mouth-watering. I will consume all lore, as I told you.
We will consume all lore.
Into lots of different lores.
I definitely know.
Warhammer 40k to Lord of the Rings.
I want to get more into Warhammer 40k. I don't think I posted a video for Warhammer 40k, but I did watch it on my own time.
Honestly, I'm impressed with a lot of them. So far, League of Legends is impressing me. All right, and we're gonna keep diving into all those too. So subscribe for more lore. But,
yes, as he says, subscribe for more lore.
So far, League of Legends has been literally
and more
blowing
anime reactions.
I always thought it was like the meme game where people put slurs in the chat.
Then we made the second timeline. That one was released after the universe launched.
Okay.
There at least we had the base idea of what the story of League of Legends even is.
Alright, and this is the picture of the constellations of, I'm assuming the gods send the constellations to the humanity to give them messages and stuff.
Because we made that video very close to the release of Universe, most of the stories were not fleshed out. And over the following months, some of the details in the story changed. And suddenly, that timeline was full of mistakes. And that's why we are making the third and hopefully the last video on the timeline of League of Legends.
Okay.
That's because today, right?
And this is 5 years ago, so like, did things change from this coming out?
Let's
I wonder.
fucking go, baby. They released the book. The timeline is set. I love that everyone can literally come together to appreciate the fact that League of Legends is so awesome from a perspective of characters and lore.
Yeah, don't leave it up to the audience. Give us like an actual story so we can go off of.
Dismal gaming experience. so crazy. Everyone I speak to says the same shit.
Which is an official summary of
Yeah.
the entire story.
Nobody,
of the world
I've
of
never
League of
played League of Legends.
But more importantly,
personally, the only actual experience I have with anything similar to League of Legends is I play Mobile Legends sometimes on my phone when I'm really bored. But that's literally the only like experience I have.
the book also contains the official timeline of this story.
Let's go.
And that is what I'm going to show you today.
Woo-hoo.
So no more guessing, no more assumptions. What you are about to hear today is set in stone.
Bet.
And the purpose of this video is
I am so fucking ready.
We are
There
so
had to have
fucking
to
ready.
explain more about Noxus and the Black Rose and stuff. Dude, there's so much lore. And
I don't know nothing about the Black Rose or the Noxus. All I know is the Watchers, gods giving humanity power, humanity fighting other humanities.
I feel like we only
Humanities, yeah.
barely touched on the surface of it. Arcane only had like 10 champions, right? 10 champions.
Oh,
out of what, 170? Oh my
Damn.
god, there is so much.
to give us a guide for the future. So whenever in the future we will need to know when the historical events happened, this video will help us. So,
right.
without further ado, let's have a look at the thing the lore community has been waiting for years.
Yes,
the
indeed.
official timeline of Runeterra.
I'm
Okay.
ready, baby.
Before
We're
we
both
start, it
ready.
is
We
important
are
to
ready.
note
Don't
that
forget
just
me,
like
Nexenor.
we say
We're
that
in this
something
together.
happened
My
twice,
bad. You're next taco. You're not Nexenor. My bad.
because
my bad.
that is how we mark year 0. On
Alright.
Runeterra, the foundation of Noxus is year 0.
No way.
Oh, okay.
Noxus was that?
I don't know nothing about Noxus, but I heard him talk about it before in a different video because I watch a lot of Nexenor's videos.
Pivotal in like the entire world scale to the point that that is what decided on the date? Okay, so you have to recognize me. Going into this, I have seen the cinematics. I
Right, I
have
haven't
watched
seen
Arcane,
none of
aside
that.
from Act 3 of Season 2. And I have done a brief like world building deep dive as well, like with the Watchers and all that shit. I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
see, I need to after this video, if this gets like a good feedback or whatever, I will 100% watch the rest of his other League of Legends stuff because I'm interested in this storyline.
Noxus was such a pivotal
And
role.
I'm very
I
interested.
will talk about it more when we get to it on the timeline. But just remember that when something happened before the year 0, we say that it happened before Noxus.
Wow.
So let's start with the very beginning. The official timeline doesn't show the very beginning of everything, but we know that something happened because we got proofs in the stories. So,
Yeah.
countless eons ago, Runeterra popped into
Which
existence.
is basically Earth.
For whatever reason, the Big Bang. You want to call it God? You want to call it?
I mean, like, wasn't it that big ass dragon? I'm pretty. I know I asked this in my last video of the League of Legends thing, but I'm pretty sure it was basically like the Watcher related thing or like a God related thing that was just throwing around scales, creating galaxies and stars.
aliens, whatever it is. That's how the planet came to be. Because you can't have a good sci-fi fantasy story these days if you don't have a timeline that starts at the beginning of existence.
This was probably
Yeah.
around the time when Aurelian started spreading stars around the
Uh-huh,
universe.
yeah, this big-ass
In
dragon
fact,
thing.
the
And
earliest
then a way
point
up
in the
there.
story we have is the beginning of time. This was mentioned in the
Right.
story Twilight of the Gods,
Okay.
when the Ascended Warriors rode on the dragons of Twilight to the beginning of times.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
This was a form of entertainment to the Ascended. Whenever they wanted, they could just jump on the
Dude, look at this fucking art piece. Wow.
That is kind of beautiful, but I'm scared of big things or things bigger than me at least, so that's pretty scary. But that's cool.
dragons of Twilight.
Again, I feel like there's so much actual insane shit in this world, and finally Arcane is piercing through the veil. Honestly, I hope Arcane is just the beginning of like.
Yeah, because based off what I got the idea of, the Watchers want to destroy reality, gods are giving humanity powers, but there's also stories for each individual part of the world and all that stuff. That means there's this potential. You can make mini stories out of everybody, right? I would assume, because all of the people are having their own life happening inside of the big part of the world. Like, you know, like the main story is happening, but every individual person or peoples are being affected in their own way, which is the craziest part about all of this.
Actual good video game adaptations.
Yes,
like,
we need
can you
more.
imagine if we got like an actual good Warhammer 40k
I saw
TV
clips
show?
of
Like,
the
can you even
Warhammer stuff.
imagine getting something like that?
But I saw
can't.
clips. I don't know where I saw it from, but it was some like animation thing for Warhammer.
Watch the beginning of
did I see
everything.
it?
Either way, that is the earliest point in the story. With this, obviously, we have the entire story of the Watchers, where the
You're the
Watchers
one that
are
was
these creatures
frozen.
from another realm.
Yeah.
And as stars and planets started appearing in our physical reality, the Watchers, which are these creatures sitting in darkness,
Right?
They did not like it. They said, "Get that shit out of here, bro. We're gonna
These seem to be like the
destroy it all."
primordial enemy. Ironically, like using some sort of biblical metaphor, like imagine these guys are like Satan or whatever. Like these are demons in some alternate reality.
Which is so weird because, like, are they technically, in our eyes or in this perspective of the people on Runeterra, I guess they would technically be the demons since they just want to destroy all of reality and everything that we exist in. But, like, they're not necessarily evil, but they're not good. They're just so above our comprehension that we can't even understand.
To break in for whatever reason. And they're kind of separated. It's only up to certain people in reality to make holes for the demons to actually enter their reality.
Yeah.
These are like the primordial evil. Ultimately, throughout the story, I feel like it's mostly going to be different factions or humans or races actually fighting each other. Because, like, if you look at
because humanity always want to fight humanity.
our
Simple as
world,
that.
right? Most of the fights we have, they not with demons, they with other people.
Yep.
Pretty
Because
fun.
we get some powers, then everybody wants the power. And that's
Arcane
just
is getting
how it
3 spin-offs. One is set in Noxus. What?
Oh, that's cool.
Is that official? So, like, these are, like, eldritch demons, like, from some other reality.
Suddenly,
Wait, is that true? Are we actually getting Arcane spin-offs? What?
that'd be
Arcane
cool.
spin-offs. No way. No way.
Oh?
3 Arcane spin-off TV shows confirmed. Oh my god. 3 Arcane spin-offs already confirmed in the works. Looks like Riot Games and Animation Studio, whatever. Next adaptations. Christian Link attended an interview with Twitch streamer Necrit. Oh, that's the guy we're reacting to right now. Speak of future
Oh,
projects.
that's actually cool. He's so big that wow, that's so cool.
We're investing a lot into
That is
Noxus,
lit.
Ionia, Demacia. Ooh! We start really with the character stories, but we're investing in the right stories. I am so fucking ready for this. That's what this world needs. This doesn't need just
That's
endless
cool.
seasons of Arcane. It
That's cool. I want to see all the angles of everybody.
needs different stories to flesh out all 170
That is
fucking
cool as
characters
hell.
in League of Legends.
That is
That's
lit.
what we need.
we saw light in the distance.
That's how you adapt a game.
And because
Demacia, whatever.
they enjoyed their sleeping in the darkness and they didn't want to be blinded by annoying light, they decided to silence it. That is the reason why the Watchers are trying to consume our world.
Okay,
They were
yeah.
sleeping in the darkness since the beginning of anything.
They want to destroy us because we are annoying. True.
And when Runeterra popped into existence, it was like an annoying shining light to them. So if
Right.
anything, we are invading the privacy of the Watchers.
Interesting. That's an interesting perspective.
That
Anyway,
is an
this
interesting
sets up the very
perspective,
beginning
because they
of-
were there first, it would seem.
The planet. But now, let's jump onto the actual history of Runeterra that is written in the book. 9,000 years before Noxus, we have the very first Runeterran story.
All right,
This
and I remember
era-
the 3 sisters are the ones that technically, like, one of them brought in some of the Watchers, and that's why they're frozen under the ice or some shit like
is
that.
known as simply the First Lands, which of course is an ancient name for Ionia. So it's not
Ionia, that's one of the places that they want to go. Okay.
surprising
I
to
don't know
know
what
where
Ionia
this
is.
story takes place. This era is entirely new to us, so pay attention. The
Okay.
description in the book reads: across the island continent known as Ionia, a great war raged between mortals and a race of sky giants. Only by the
Wow.
intervention of the
That sounds all very D&D-ish.
Vastaya Shirei, legendary beings of immense power, existing in both material and spirit realms simultaneously, was victory eventually won. This
Wait,
is
are those the monsters that the Watchers created, or are they the Watchers themselves? Because the
Interesting.
Watchers can't fit through, right? They were just creating things to send through the voids.
because we have never heard about the sky giants before.
No.
Although they
God
were
damn, that is so cool. There's so much history in this world. They didn't need to do this, right? If they all...
Cause like it's obvious that they love their creation, bro. The people, the developers, the creators, the artists, they love their creation. They want us to feel the way that they feel.
If they only were worried about certain champions in the game, then why would they need to come up with such a brilliant backstory? Whoever obviously made this lore really put love into this world, for sure. And it's not just about creating little champions for the game.
Released almost years before this book. If you have a look at Universe, you may notice these images with giant swords that have no meaning.
Wow. It's the ancient sky giants. That's fucking awesome. I love that.
That's pretty
I
cool.
love that because it's such a good parallel to our world. There's so many different religions and histories and mythologies that talk about giants. And, you know, you have a couple of questions that don't necessarily have exact answers. So I love whenever you have some ancient race of giants that existed in the world. Like even in Elden Ring, which I think is one of the best lores I've ever consumed. I've already done deep dives on pretty much all of Elden Ring lore.
Yeah, I watch a lot of his other Ring stuff too, actually, because I played the game but never beat it. Don't beat me up. I just never beat it. You know, like things happen. work got into the way, you know. Yeah. Anyways, I did like to hear about the reason why certain boss fights were certain boss fights. It was pretty cool.
However, we don't really have answers to what these things are. Throughout the land of Elden Ring, you just have these big fucking giants. Like, these are the regular giants, okay? Like, they're like, whatever, let's say 5 times your size. But you have these too, like these ancient giant skeletons.
Like, that head is part of the 5 times the size of your body.
Actually understood. And I love that. It's like an ancient piece of history that's not fully established, but it's a question mark on the history. So it's really cool to actually get some sort of explanation for what the giants...
I definitely agree that it's so cool. I never noticed it when I was playing because I was getting my fucking ass beat by things on horses and shit all the time, but it's okay.
Swords are. I think that's fucking brilliant world building, especially because even in biblical and Abrahamic religions, there are stories about giants in the past and stuff. That's why there's such a big, like, giant conspiracy theory. You see, like, a giant bone in the ground and you're like, is this like a dinosaur bone or is it a human? You know? It's fucking awesome. Brilliant inclusion, honestly.
Well, they have no meaning because people forgot where these giant swords came from. And the book actually has a special description for this exact image. This is what it says. Titans of the past. It is certain Ionia has much longer and richer history than any living soul could claim to know. Indeed, in the more remote and mountainous highlands, the landscape is still littered with evidence of great wars from ages past. But instead of clearing the ruins, the Ionians chose to respect what remains. Even if they...
Rare human moment.
I was about to say that because every time we find something that's more than a certain amount of years old, we just touch it, experiment on it, test it, try to learn everything about it, and probably go into tombs in fucking Egypt and putting curses on humanity in 2024.
Expecting the ruins of a previous civilization. Couldn't be me.
No longer fully understand what it represents. So this is a proof that the very first Runeterran story was a war with the giants, which is a war we unfortunately know nothing about.
But honestly, I think that's a good thing. I don't love a lore that fleshes out every bit of history. I like a lore that leaves mystery in its history, right?
Yeah, like, it gives you more room to just think about what actually happened rather than just telling you exactly what happened. Let you think about it just a little bit. This could have happened or this could have happened. And both things that could have happened probably could have happened, if that makes sense. I hope you guys are following along.
I did a Game of Thrones lore dive as well. I will consume all lore, and I will tell you, I will consume the greatest stories. All right, this channel is rebranding, I guess, in some way, but it is very interesting, very, very interesting, because I don't need every bit of history ever to be explained properly. I like the fact that there are mysteries, just like how in the world building of planet Earth there are mysteries as well.
One thing to note is that even for TFT, Riot is using these giant swords for the Ionian maps. So it is clear that Riot might have future plans for this story.
Oh, but that's pretty cool, actually. Not like just put it there and forget about it. That's
Let's
cool.
move
that's
on.
Cool.
8,000 years before Noxus, the War of the Three Sisters. The description of this event tries to set
I remember that they were like deaf, blind, and couldn't speak or something. Deaf, blind.
This we covered, right? In our original like world building video for League of Legends, the 3 sisters, there's like one is blind and one is deaf and one is mute or something.
Okay, I was right. Couldn't speak. Okay, I was
and
right.
they accidentally released the Watchers into the world, right? That's like a thing.
Everything on the right track. Because previously the story of Freljord had some plot holes. This is what the description says. After they defeated the old gods of the north, a feud developed between the sisters Avarosa, Cyrilda, and Lysandra.
Lysandra, that's the blind one. The blind one that everyone wants to have sex with. Yeah.
Of course they did, because Lysandra is just a name that you would definitely want to have sex with. Makes sense.
Yes, that's the story.
Yes, I agree.
Or maybe I'm just getting confused, because that's what my chat kept saying.
And quickly escalated into open conflict. The final battle was fought at the gates of Lysandra's citadel, where she sacrificed...
Dude, look at that fucking art. That is gorgeous.
Many allies to
entomb nice and dark.
her enemies in true ice.
Classic Esmeralda, am I right, guys? Truly a Freljord moment if I've ever heard one. Sacrificing people to encase people in ice? What is this, fairy tale? Oh.
Wow.
Oh my god.
This suggests that the Watchers got frozen in the Holding Abyss first.
Which I still find insane to me. How the hell did this crazy thing that exists out of our reality completely be frozen in some ice? That is
And a couple of years after that, the sisters turned against each other. Damn. It wasn't a massive
classic sister.
See, I didn't hear about that part. I heard about them freezing it inside the ice, and that was basically basically all that other story explained for me.
Am I right?
That's what I remember.
Always friendly when there's a greater enemy, but the moment there's a little rift, they will murder each other. Damn.
Battle that included all three sisters and the Watchers on top of that, like we previously thought.
She looks like the Archer girl in Mobile Legends. Let me get out of the way. She looks like the Archer girl from Mobile Legends, kinda, right? No, am I tripping? She kinda does.
In reality, according to the book, it was two separate battles. Despite the
Interesting.
fact that Lysandra's bio still mentions everyone being frozen in one battle. But then again, the story has these plot holes only in Lysandra's version of the story. And that might be happening because Lysandra is trying to hide the truth.
That is so fucking cool. That is so cool. Again, since these stories are told from the perspective of characters.
Yeah, because like they wouldn't know everything because they themselves don't know everything. So why the fuck would it be included inside their story? That is so cool.
We might be getting propaganda. We might not necessarily get some objective history. Dude, I'm with this. I am loving it.
So now I wonder if they're going to introduce a character that was watching them all that will actually give us the lore overarching all of their lore, right? That'd be cool.
Lore is literally sucking me in. This is insane.
But
Stop saying mommy in chat. God freaking damn it, have some dignity.
I would.
She will
I could fix her.
Freeze your balls off.
With this information, I wanted to retell the entire...
You cannot fix her!
I just said that! No way! I just said that.
...story as accurately as possible. But it is obvious that Riot has the freedom to tell us more about the Watchers in the future. And with Lysandra being a massive liar, if in the future Riot expanded the story and altered the timeline, it would invalidate this entire video. So instead, just remember that the official timeline mentioned that the sisters defeated the Watchers before they got into conflict. But now...
Okay, so they defeated the Watchers. It was too peaceful. They started fighting. Okay, makes sense.
There was a greater evil. The sisters were allies. The evil left, and then the sisters were left to fight with each other. Classic woman moment. Am I right, chat? High five to women in the audience. I respect you and appreciate your battles.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm so excited to do lore dives on all these specific characters. God damn. Let it snow, let it snow. And then they stabbed each other in the heart.
6,000 years before Noxus. A westward migration. Of course, we know this story very well, because it was explained when Kiana was released. This is where the advanced people of Ishtal spread around the world. Some people migrated to the Blessed Isles, some to the Buhuru Islands, and some to Targon, the deserts of Shurima, and to Valoran. In short,
I don't know what any of that shit means.
Oh, thank God. I'm sitting here like thinking, oh, maybe because I haven't watched any videos, I don't know what anything he just said.
Nearly all humans on Runeterra come from the region.
Oh, so they were colonizers. Very cool.
This is what the description says. Bringing all their ancient knowledge and wisdom with them, settlers from the forgotten lands of the distant east reached the shores of Shurima and Valoran. In time, their descendants would come to rule the greatest civilizations Runeterra has ever known. Notice how the description simply mentions settlers from the forgotten land of the distant east, and how it says that they reached the shores of Shurima and Valoran. Now, Shurima and Valoran are the entire continents. So the story almost suggests that even the people of Ishtal don't come from Ishtal.
Wow.
Interesting. That is a good analysis. Nux thought the Overwatch Rule 34 was lit. Wait until he discovers the League of Legends Rule 34.
Why are we talking about Rule 34 right now?
Chat, I'm doing this for the lore, okay? This is not...
Yeah, he's doing it for the lore, not for the mommy.
For the porn, all right? This is not a porn dives.
Until he starts streaming, and then it's for the porn dive.
We're not doing that.
Porn dive.
We're evolving. We are consuming all lore of every video game, every show with deep lore. We're consuming all of that, okay? Can you stop? But also send me a good source.
Exactly. That's why I follow him.
It suggests that even the people of Ishtal came from somewhere further east.
Definitely why I follow.
What I'm trying to say is that maybe there is a place further east that is not even on the map. And that is where people came from. Ooh. They landed on the shores of Shurima and Valoran, and from there they spread around.
Interesting theory. But basically, you got these people spreading throughout the world. They all basically came from one source.
And also they were given power from the gods and stuff, and they were fighting each other with the powers from the gods and stuff.
5,000 years before Noxus. The rise of the God Warriors.
Right, this we did see in our...
Are these the Ascendants or something?
Actual world building deep dive.
Guided by the divine aspects of Targon in preparation for some unknown future war.
I love that the official timeline doesn't actually refer to the gods, right? Because when we did the world building video...
Right, because it was pretty obvious that the gods were like pretty hands-on with them, giving them like constellations and messages directly to the humans and stuff like that.
We spent a lot of time talking about how the gods kept putting people in different positions where they can become strong enough to fight against the Watchers. But it really seems like, from the perspective of the people,
they don't even
gods are just that. They are religious figures. They're gods, right? They don't have direct contact. From the perspective of the gods, everything is being manipulated. But from the perspective of the people, these are just religions with nebulous entities. That is brilliant.
It's not just some big ass religious power sitting on top of a mountain going, you there, you there, you there.
Ancient Shuremans used the sun disk at Neremazeth to create the first Ascended. These noble beings were worshipped.
He's nuts! Sorry.
As living gods. And the empire they forged would endure for millennia.
Which is very nice. Except for the slavery and the backstabbing and the Brutus moment.
So, stuff for everything, basically.
Brutus' situation was insane.
Yeah, everything.
This confirms that we were right in our previous assumptions that it was the Targonian aspects and possibly even the Celestials themselves who showed Shuremans how to create the Ascended. The first Ascended were made in Neremazeth. However, for unknown reasons, these early experiments with the Ascended failed, and Neremazeth was turned into ruins. So instead, a couple of years later...
That sounds a lot like Nazareth, damn. But yeah, no, so it is kind of wild. It is kind of wild. So they failed in the past. It really does seem like, I mean, again, like, you know how in Arcane, they obviously fucked up a couple times with the Hex Tech and with all that shit. Singed.
I didn't watch Arcane, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Fucked up with his science. It really seems like mistakes on the process of success is just very much integral to this world.
I didn't watch it, so
whether it's on a scientific level, a mechanical level, on a magic level, or even on like some sort of spiritual, godly level.
A better and greater sun disk was built in the middle of the Shureman Desert, which would become the foundation of the future capital city of the Shureman Empire.
I'm sure nothing bad happens here.
Of course not.
The description mentioned that the Ascended were created for unknown future war.
Which implies
that they're already fighting the Watchers, most likely.
That the Celestials, or whatever, seemed like they were nudging humanity to make these Ascendant God Warriors in order to fight against the Watchers, or some sort of...
But then they're probably going to use it right now because they don't know that they're fighting these crazy Watchers. I'm assuming at this moment, they're going to fight each other.
Interdimensional greater evil.
Of course, we know would become the Great Void War.
But obviously the humans didn't know that shit.
5,000 years before Noxus.
Wait, so this God Warrior place, Shurima, whatever, that was a capital city of peace for 2,500 years? It was like a utopia. No civilization lasts that long.
Icathia rebelled against Shurima. This is when the story called Where Icathia Once Stood happened. During this story, the Icathian kingdom requested to stay
I remember this picture and what happened here.
Independent from the Shuriman Empire. Obviously, the Emperor of Shurima denied this request.
Yeah, big shock. The Emperor didn't want people to actually get shrug off their rule? What? That doesn't sound like what an Emperor would do.
And as an answer, he sent his Ascended God Warriors to reclaim the rebelling kingdom.
Holy shit. Kingdom is like, we want sovereignty. And he's like, you are my vassals. God Warriors, kill them all.
See, this is where the Warhammer stuff is actually be evil. Because in the Warhammer, at least they're using their evil tactics for good. And this, he's just like, you don't want to listen under me? You want to go against me? Okay, godly warriors, put them back in their place.
For a moment. Like, again, it's an interesting political conflict, and I'm really interested to see what a show like Arcane actually does about this. But realistically, this does kind of make sense. It seems like some sort of civil war where, you know, some people want sovereignty, some people want to maintain their control, which does make sense. Yeah. You don't want to give sovereignty to, you know, Texas, okay? You want Texas to stay part of...
Why is he attacking Texas right now?
Fucking America.
And so, because Icathians knew they wouldn't be able to beat the God Warriors, they called upon a different kind of power to save them.
God damn it, they summoned the fucking demons. That's the issue, bro. That's the issue. You're always gonna get people to go to extremes. There's nothing scarier than someone desperate, right? Wasn't that even a quote from Arcane that they said about...
I didn't watch Arcane, so I don't know.
That's what Mel said about Mbessa. You know, she's much more dangerous than usual because she's desperate.
Or, as the description puts it, in a desperate bid to succade from the tyranny of the Empire, Icathia unleashed the Void in battle.
And that's what they'll do, because ultimately, from their perspective, either they lose to the God Warriors, or they win and use the Void, and then have to deal with the Void, and then maybe lose, but maybe win. You can never trust.
Yeah, because like they'll win though. The what they always say in like random as cringe fighting shows and games, you can win the battle, but you'll lose the war, or win the war and lose the battle, or some shit like that. And in this case, that would make a lot of sense because like they're winning a little small battle, but they're gonna lose the big war because then the Void or whatever they summon into the world to beat the godlike people or whatever are they're not gonna help them out after that, and they're not gonna go back to where they came either. They're just done for.
Their own capital city was instantly destroyed. The land tainted and corrupted beyond all recognition. Even the mighty ascended host could do little to combat this horror, and Shurima was forced to abandon Icathia for good.
Oh, so Icathia actually, it didn't just rebel, it succeeded. It actually became a sovereign nation because of this. I didn't realize that. Damn. So that's the first big L of Shurima and the God Warriors in 2,500 years of rule.
2,000 years before Noxus, Azir's failed ascension. This is when Zerath betrayed Azir.
Yeah, right. So Azir was the king, or the emperor, whatever, and his slave/friend betrayed him. Right, yeah.
Some could argue that Azir wasn't really betrayed. He just never told Zerath that he wanted to free all slaves. Azir wanted to—
Churro! Oh god, he was Abraham Lincoln one day before making the speech. Damn, holy shit. He wanted to ascend and then free all slaves, but he didn't tell anyone. And they were like, dude, we'll just kill this guy.
keep it as a surprise.
Again, it's a really interesting political and like psychological story. Like, it's just a really good story in general, right? Here you have the noble king, but ultimately the king is an oppressor. And ultimately the king isn't willing to share his nobility and his kindness with the people until it's too late. Miscommunication always been the world's biggest problem, for real, for real.
You telling me at work, the biggest issue that we have is communicating with each other. It is actually insane. So many problems happen just because one person, like person A didn't tell person C, so that person D didn't know what person A wanted to tell person D. So person D gets in trouble, and then the whole department is in trouble. But person A knew that it was going to happen. I hope you guys are following along that random analogy. But yeah, you get the point.
But you can totally understand the perspective of the rebels, and you can totally understand the perspective of the noble king that really thinks he's doing everything right. Like, it's just, I love stories with dynamics like this, and these complications shape the actual landscape of League of Legends, and that's what makes it interesting and complex.
Right, because it's not one-dimensional, quite literally, because there's so many things happening all at once. There's so many different battles happening, so many people's lives being affected by certain things. Some people are probably so poor, so weak, so down in the chain of food and all that stuff that they don't even get to experience the suffering at this level, because they're not even there.
Right? It's like the classic Silco thing from Arcane, you know? Like, I could completely understand Silco's perspective in Arcane,
this is obviously showing me I need to watch Arcane.
Which would be announced after his ascension. But since he never told Zerath, Zerath thought that Azir was as cruel as all his ancestors. And so, Zerath decided to push Azir away from the ritual, and he absorbed the power of the Sun Disk himself.
Is this Azir guy like a character in League of Legends? Like, have we seen any actual champions yet? I hope.
Hold on, I want to see Azir League of Legends. Sorry, I'm curious now. He's an esports character? Oh, what? Hold up. What is the biggest? What? This is not telling me nothing. It's not telling me nothing. Oh my god. I'm sorry.
I always get confused.
I don't know.
Azir, lol. Like, oh yes, he is a character? Damn. Dude, the art is so good. Holy shit.
That didn't tell me
Every
shit.
time. Just straight bangers. He's a god? Nice.
Forcing it to transcend him beyond.
So both these characters, Azir and Xerath, are characters. What does Xerath look like? Dude, I have to do a fucking lore dive into every champion. Not even fair! Oh, wait, that's a surprise. I didn't see that. Oh, no way!
Wow.
Hey, that's crazy. Didn't see that one coming.
Beyond what even the Ascended are, and destroying the Empire in the process. The description of these
Wow, a 2,500 year long empire completely destroyed by a miscommunication. That's awesome.
event says, denied godhood by a base act of treachery, the last Freeman Emperor, Azir, was lost, along with the Sun Disk itself.
Yeah.
The people, filled with fear and sorrow, looked for the remaining Ascended to protect them. Something to note here. Notice that there is a 500-year gap between these events and the story of Icathia. Because Azir was just a normal man during these events, that means that it wasn't Azir who led the Empire into war with Icathia.
Oh, interesting. This is a totally new emperor, right? The emperor that fought against Ica with that whole rebellion and shit, that guy's
I'm lost as hell. I don't know what's happening.
long dead. This is just a whole new guy.
It was likely one of his ancestors. 550 years before Noxus, the Great Darkin War.
Oh, shit.
That just sounds scary. The fact that it jumped to -2000 and -550, that means that they probably had a, probably not peaceful, but at least a consistent time period after this Azur's failed ascension. And now it's just a damn war? Oh, great. Who
Of the
died?
previous era mentioned
pissed
that
each other
after
off?
Azir died and the Sun Disk was destroyed.
Just said that.
destroyed, people turned to the Ascended Warriors to protect them. And that was the foundation of the Great Darkin War.
Interesting. So it was 1,500 years of scampering. That's crazy. Like, ultimately, you have to realize this Shurima place was the world power. It was super fucking strong. It had a 2,500 year long regime. And because of one action that killed the emperor, it completely and utterly destroyed this nation, fragmented it, and left a power vacuum to the point that everyone was scampering to these god warriors or whatever to protect them. Like, it fragmented a great nation. It took 1,500 years to maintain some sort of society. That's how big of a culture shift it was.
For what would a warlord be without an army? Bereft of purpose, and scarred by what they had endured
What cool fucking character designs.
in
That
facing the
was cool.
void. Many of the
It
Ascended
was like the max level person you see in Path of Exile.
became twisted in body and mind, naming themselves Darkin.
Psych.
So the Darkin are god warriors that went bad. Interesting.
I thought the Darkin were the people that got ascended and they fucked up.
They're corrupt god warriors.
And raising
Yeah.
hordes of mortal warriors to conquer the world. Eventually, the aspect
Power vacuum. Right? What do you do when a power vacuum happens? Well, something needs to fill that vacuum, and it's gonna be the cock of this freaking guy over here, who's probably a character in the game, if I had to guess.
is what inspired their creation were
Kane? Is Kane that guy? Dude.
Kane? Now I'm curious. I gotta look it up now. Hold up. Is it like him, I guess? I mean, he doesn't look as badass as the image that we're seeing right now. But I mean, I'm assuming. I'm seeing this thing, Victor, the Herald of Arcane. It's not showing me the person I looked up. But these are cool. Anyway, going back to the video.
Y'all killing me here. Kane, lol. What?
I'm gonna see if he finds something different than I found.
This is Kane? Nani? Is that the same guy? I don't even know.
Yeah,
No?
he found
All
something
right.
similar.
forced to intervene, imprisoning the Darkin within their own accursed weapons. In other words, after Azir's betrayal, the Ascended War Host was left without a leader, and with
Oh,
its
I remember these people. They were using like blood or some shit like that with their magic. They were like blood magicians or some shit.
Ast? Dude, why are they all such complicated names? Why can't they name them like Steve?
Because they were going against complicated times, Noctanor. Like you are very nameist for thinking that
And
they
Frank.
could be simple. It was a
This
horrible
guy,
time.
Right? Sheesh. This guy looks spooky as fuck. Dude, it's spelled R-H-A-A-S-T. That's gotta be criminal.
Thea defeated, they were left without a purpose. Combine that with the fact that the minds of the Ascended were already touched by the void, and suddenly they went crazy and
Which is literally the same thing as the void. Was it called the void in Warhammer? I can't remember. But whatever the darkness stuff was, where the people were being corrupted and they were literally fighting humanity and shit.
started hungering for power.
Same
Thus,
thing.
the Ascended became the Darkin. At this point, the
Interesting.
situation was out of control, and the living weapons which the Targonian aspects created to fight the void were now terrorizing humanity. And so, using the power of the moon, the aspects were forced to
moon.
intervene and imprison the Darkin inside their own weapons. Notice the symbology here.
Yeah, that is really interesting. The Sun Warriors became the Darkin, and so they needed to use the moon's power to seal them within their weapons. I yearn for the mines. What are you,
The
fucking
sun versus
Minecraft
the
kid?
moon?
But anyway, no. So what's interesting is Kane in their Darkin form absorbs this demon guy. This is Kane after absorbing Rast. Dude, that's so cool. Dude, we have to do lore dives.
The Darkin were technically created using the power of the sun.
Yeah, I see the symbology. It's pretty cool. It's very Aztec mythology-esque. It's very focusing on how astral bodies contain like this epic power that does impact, you know, the world below.
Okay.
Somehow, Runeterra is formed and shaped by the cosmos, which definitely fits very well with the whole Lovecraftian entity watcher vibe.
Reflecting
And Aurelian being like a star dragon.
in the sun disk. At the end, as we learned from the story
The blue eyes white star dragon.
in Twilight of the Gods,
Yu-Gi-Oh vibes. If you don't know that, you're too young.
they were sealed using the power of the moon. So the sun and the moon are the primal forces here.
Okay.
They are
Yeah.
the beginning and the end.
Interesting.
400 years before
Wait, so do we ever see these Darkin again? There's like this massive war, it lasts 150 years. The Darkins end up getting sealed, and they're just gonzo forever.
Nah, they're probably just sitting there frozen, just like the random ass watchers that's frozen in the ice, just waiting for some random dumb kid to just let them out.
Roxas, Reign
you.
of the Iron Revenant. This is when the story of Mordekaiser happens.
Who the fuck is Mordekaiser? Mordekaiser. Oh my god, dude.
I don't know who that is, but he sounds like a cool guy.
I would fucking pledge my allegiance to this
Oh,
glorious
wow.
man.
Some shit that my cousin would like.
Holy shit, this man is half space marine and half god amp. Look at this fucking hunk. Holy shit, bro. Mordekaiser slaps his cock on the table and it's over.
Damn, look at him.
Jeebus.
That's so
Grobless.
crazy.
This, what the space marine Genghis Khan over here. God damn.
I'll read
Dude, the character design is so good.
the official
No
description
wonder you guys are telling me to look at the porn.
first.
I don't think that's the first thing I would have thought of, but sure.
And then I will fill in the gaps. Deceiving the mages who had resurrected him, the warlord San Uzal was
Resurrected him? Wait, this guy's like necromancied back into the battlefield?
Oh, it's some solo leveling shit. He's actually the freaking the dark monarch, the evil monarch.
This
whatever
dude's like an
his name
undead?
was.
reborn as Mordekaiser and set about conquering the mortal realm from his immortal bastion.
Oh my god, he really is! He's just immortal zombie Genghis Khan space marine.
Damn.
Though it took almost 3 centuries, he was eventually defeated by an alliance of Noxai tribes, who inherited the empire he had built.
So this dude is such a badass. His iron cock destroys societies everywhere. He basically becomes like some warlord to take over everything. And then he eventually gets defeated, and the people that defeat him basically take over all the stuff that he became a dictator over. They kind of inherited a nation from a
No, this is look okay. It's not the exact same, but this is literally giving me the same thing for the monarch that Jin Woo got the power from in solo leveling. Like I'm getting the vibes because he was a crazy ass monarch that was quite literally under God or the thing itself and was betrayed. And he was literally resurrecting himself and all his enemies and partners and shit. And
that
yeah.
is such a fucking cool development.
I need to add 2 things here. First of all, before San Uzal died, he conquered Valoran and forged an empire in blood and death.
Yeah,
Damn.
well, we're definitely leaning into
Damn.
that Aztec mythology shit.
He did this because he believed that if he lived a glorious life in the name of the gods of death, he would be invited to their table in the afterlife.
Oh my god.
But
Oh.
after he died, he learned that the afterlife is empty. This angered him so much
Cringe! Wait, how the fuck does that happen? If there is no afterlife, then how is he noticing this shit?
that he learned how to speak the language of the dead. Also
What? If they were so empty, why is there even a language for the dead?
known as Oknun, by observing other damned souls. Then he reached out to the world of the living, in hopes to bait some sorcerer into bringing this legendary warlord back to life.
This is crazy.
And
God damn!
with a bit of patience, that is exactly what happened.
That has got to be the most badass berserk gut style resurrection stories I've ever heard in my life. We gotta do a Mordekaiser deep dive. That's
That is fucking crazy, bro.
like Darth Revan on steroids. Holy crap. Bro is literally Madara. Too angry to stay dead. He does all this evil, insane shit because he wants to die and then be at the table with the gods of death. When it turns out there were no gods of death, he was just like, ah, shit, I'm just dead. So
I might as well go back to the limit and do it again.
he absorbs the energy from other damned souls, making a foothold in reality, so that some mage brings this little fucker back and he controls the world! That has got to be the dankest story I've ever heard. Oh my god, biggest flexes in anime for real. They gotta do a biggest flexes in lore.
Mordekaiser is
That would be so fucking hard, bro. Cause like Space Marine is insane. Fucking, oh my god, that would be so fucking hard. That would be so hard. That would be
San Uzal's
so
name
hard.
spoken in Oknun.
That would be
After
crazy.
this, the
I would love to
description
see that if he
happens.
does that.
San
actually,
Uzal was
but-
brought back to life as Mordekaiser and he started a new conquest of the world. However, at the end of the description, it says, he was eventually defeated by an alliance of the Noxai tribes. But of
I suppose that creates Noxus.
course, we know that it wasn't just a bunch of barbarian tribes who grouped together to take him down.
Oh.
In reality, Mordekaiser was also betrayed by his own people inside the Immortal Bastion.
I
Oh,
guess that's
shit.
the problem with being some evil fucking dictator guy. You might not have the most loyal soldiers.
One of which was LeBlanc herself.
Not LeBlanc herself. Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't know who LeBlanc is, because I don't know who the fuck LeBlanc is.
Yes, I can see why people like League of Legends lore. Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because just look at her. Yeah, she got really good, big personality.
That's good character design, I would say. Yes, wow. Yes.
Anyway, as the story
Black Rose? Wait. No shot. No shot. I cannot believe it. That's insane. That's insane.
I don't know who or what Black Rose is.
She's the leader of the Black Rose, the one that's been after Mel and Mel's mom this entire time, who are from Noxus. She's literally been around from the days of Mordekaiser. She has literally been the one that backstabbed Mordekaiser before the year has been even named, before the origins of the timeline. Bro!
Goddamn.
Oh my.
Bro, I need to watch the fucking Arcane, bro, because I am so lost.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I'm watching this video. This is why you should subscribe, so you can be on the journey to be learning all of this League of Legends full history and shit, so that we cannot be confused together. So leave a like on this video and subscribe. So
The illusionist lady? Bro, dude, fuck. Oh, God. Noxus just got a lot more interesting.
Anyway, as the story mentioned, almost 300 years passed. And now we are getting to 25 years before Noxus. The Ruination. A terrible accident occurred in the arcane vaults beneath the city of Helya.
Oh my God. Is this why Heimerdinger was always so against using the arcane and using hex tech? Because 25 years before the calendar starts, there was this massive accident.
Hidden away on the Blessed Isles. With the barrier between the mortal and the spirit realms shattered, the souls of the dead were trapped in eternal torment within the coiling black mist, and the newly dubbed Shadow Isles were abandoned by all right-thinking mortals. Okay. Of course, everyone knows that the ruination was caused by the ruined king. So about 25 years before Noxus is when the story of Callista and Hecarim happened.
Alright.
And this takes
I don't know what that means.
us to 13
Bro,
years.
I love it when he says that because he does it a lot more deep dives than I do. So if he doesn't know what the fuck that means, then I don't know what the fuck that means. Thank
Before
God.
Noxus. The Rune Wars. With Helya lost, dangerous magical artifacts soon began to find their way into the wrong hands.
Okay.
On the fields outside
Like every other thing that is given to humanity.
Com, the renowned mage Tyrus and his apprentice Rise witnessed the first devastating attack in the Rune Wars.
Damn.
A sight that would haunt Rise's nightmares for the rest of his unnaturally long life. In other words, the story of Rise actually happened after the Ruination.
Okay, I don't know who this guy is, but this is that war that Heimerdinger was talking about when the arcane became too accessible to the people. Obviously, which is why he was so scared of hex tech, right?
Which makes sense because Master Tyrus, who was responsible for
Every single one of these characters has such a complex story, bro.
Which is
this
good.
guy is this is the mage that Heimerdinger met. Wow.
taking care of the world runes was from the Blessed Isles.
Dude, there's so much lore. Oh God, I'm so happy we're consuming it. League of Legends really is a treasure trove. This is the new 40K.
I'm sad that I'm 34 minutes into this video and I feel like I'm still as confused as the very first fucking 5 seconds of the video. But I don't know, man.
Hey, at least for me.
Confusing me.
I'm still infatuated with 40K. I think that's still the best lore dive we've done, but
Because it's so damn big.
damn.
400 books is insane.
But since the Blessed Isles exploded, it makes sense that suddenly protecting the world runes was harder. That might be one of the reasons why people around the world started discovering the world runes. Either way, the description mentions Com, which is a place mentioned on the map of Runeterra. You can't find the place there, but it
Okay.
was mentioned in Rise's story. In
Interesting.
fact, it is this exact image. The reason why you can't find it on the map is
It's because it's destroyed.
because
it
it
looks
is
like it was burnt down.
speculated
obviously.
that this entire crater
That was a city. Damn.
in the middle of the sea is this place. There used to be a massive
It's
chunk
the whole ass doom of Valyria
Damn.
all over again.
of land there. But as the story of Rise described, the mountains got evaporated and the ocean rushed into the land. That's where this giant hole comes from. The former
Damn.
birthplace of
The
Rise.
city
That's
of
amazing.
Atlantis.
And finally, we are getting to year 0. Noxus endures.
Wow. So this is where the year starts. This is where it all starts. After the previous war, we're in a new age in regards to how magic is being regarded. That's incredible.
The Rune Wars escalated across most of the known world. After a decade of almost apocalyptic battle, the last of the Noxai were forced to retreat inside the Immortal Bastion for shelter from the magical fallout. When they finally emerged, the land beyond has been ravaged, but they survived.
All
They
right.
were alloyed as a single people. No longer Noxai, but
Noxus.
Noxus.
Yeah, and that's what it happens. The unification of a great nation. This is really the first unified front, seemingly since like the God Warriors, all the way back in the old days. Back to
But now, like, if they do the same thing as the God Warriors, which would be making, like, one specific type of army that is too powerful even for themselves, they would just follow the same footsteps as their history.
in Shurima. That's incredible.
And have marked their calendar from this day ever since.
I would hope
the
they-
story
I
here
would
reveals
really,
something
really
interesting.
hope that they
Just
do
like
not
some
do that,
people fled to
but-
the forests of Demacia, decades before Demacia was even a kingdom, because the forest itself was able to protect them from magic. People who are on the other side of the continent wouldn't be able to make it there. And so instead they hid inside the Immortal Bastion. And because the Immortal Bastion was empowered by the dark magic of Mordekaiser, it's not a surprise to know that the Immortal Bastion could also protect them from magic. So if you think about it, Demacia and Noxus started during the same event. However, it would take
the Mordekaiser fucking bullshit.
Demacia much longer to get actually kickstarted. Which takes us to the year 292, the Demacian Crown. Far to the west.
I mean, I don't know anything about Demacia. I just know that it's going to be one of the settings in the next future Arcane spin-off seasons, whatever.
That's cool.
Founded by the great
So where's Arcane taking place?
champion Orlon crowned its first.
I guess I would have to watch it to figure that out, but I'm
king.
curious.
Originally settled by the refugees of the Rune Wars, it was declared that Demacia would be a sanctuary from magic, now and forevermore. Ooh. Of course, if you
wait, so Demacia was like a mage world, a mage area, and Noxus was like an anti-mage area. That's interesting.
Want to know more about Orlon, the person who founded Demacia? You can read the story of Poppy, who is now wielding the Hammer of Orlon.
Poppy! I suppose this is a legal, yeah, I suppose this is like a playable champion. Bro thinks she's a Tinkaton. Dude, little girl with like a fucking massive battle hammer? Oh yeah, dude. That's cool. Crazy. Oh god, that's the greatest trope of all time.
Interestingly enough, the foundation of Demacia is also tied to other stories. For example, this means that it was around the year 300 when the story of Gale and Morgana happened. Next we get to the year 349. Noxus becomes an imperial power. After a series of...
No, don't tell me they put their army into a specific type of power and it's gonna bite them in the ass 20,000 years later.
I suppose at this point, the world was kind of in shambles, right? After the Mordekaiser shit and the Noxai, I imagine there isn't some unified world power.
Forced annexations and the fall of the Dragon Gate. The strength of Noxus grew to match its ambitions. The noble houses swore, though it might take 1,000 years, to unify all nations of Runeterra beneath a single banner, and elected a Grand General to lead their war hosts to victory.
I mean, yeah? Like, I love how they phrase it. That just means they want to conquer the world.
And they're gonna kill anybody that disagrees with them, most likely.
They're phrasing it, we would like to unify the people to make a better life for everyone by conquering the world and colonizing them under our rule. Like, you gotta appreciate the framing here. Like, we will enforce democracy whether you like it or not. You are outvoted. Yeah, but since it's coming from Noxus' perspective, it's obviously super wholesome, right? They want to unite the world under one banner to make a world of peace and love.
This part
under one general
is super interesting because this means that Noxus was founded with the exact same philosophy as Demacia. Demacia was also,
except mages versus physical might, I guess,
founded with the idea of having a shelter for all races of Runeterra.
It's super wholesome. I agree. Incredibly wholesome shit. I am so with you. We are a place for everyone, but Noxus seems to want to conquer everyone and put them under their rule.
But as time went on, that idea corroded. But Noxus stuck with it. To this day, Noxus is still the most diverse nation on Runeterra.
That's good.
Let's go! Let's go! Can't believe Noxus is so woke, guys. Woke Noxus situation is insane.
And that's because they stuck with their base philosophy.
Okay. So what happened to Demacia? Why did they not?
We have the year 772. Tragedy on the river.
Of course, there's always gonna be some issue going on. What did they do this time?
Built. Merchant clans controlling the trade routes between Valoran and Shurima accelerated construction of vast accessways and conveyors. However, excavations of these sun gates undermined the ancient port of Zone, plunging whole...
Oh, don't tell me that they're getting too industrial and they're not really respecting the religious stuff right now.
Portions of the city into the lightless caverns beneath.
Wow, dude. One more time.
It's the ancient port of Zone.
Wait, Zon existed before Piltover? I am shocked. One more time.
In Valoran and Shurima, accelerated construction of vast accessways and conveyors. However, excavations of these sun gates undermined the ancient port of Zone, plunging whole portions of the city into the lightless caverns beneath.
Okay. I cannot believe it. Zon existed before Piltover.
I don't know what the hell that means, but okay.
It was a Shuriman city back in the day. That was like the city that used to be the capital with like the god warriors and all that shit. And there was a Zon, and the Zon was crushed down into the depths. Oh my god. So they built Piltover on top of Zon and literally made the Zonites need to submit to their authority. Oh my god, that gives a different perspective on the political situation of Arcane. Oh my lord.
In other words, before the year 772, the only way to transport goods by ship from east to west would be to go around the entire continent, because the path through the continent was blocked by rocks right here, which is where the ancient city of Zon was.
I cannot believe it. So they destroyed Zon. In order to make a trading route. Wow! That is so dark. That is so freaking dark.
Back then, Zon was a Shuriman city, and its ancient name was Oshrava Zon. However, the rich people realized that if they make a massive hole through the rocks, instead of going around the entire continent, they could go through the rocks and pass between the eastern and western Valorant with ease. So the construction began, and the merchants of Zon started digging a hole through the rocks. But because it was taking far too long to do that, they decided to accelerate the digging, and so they used explosives.
Oh my fucking god, they're gonna just blow the whole mountain down?
Issue is that they miscalculated how many of these explosives they needed, and the explosion was so big half of the city sank into the waters below.
Bro, that's insane. I feel like this is such a good, like, world building, because on the one hand, we've never had a tragedy quite like this happen in our world that I could think of, like blowing up the city in like this exact fashion, but it is something that is so realistic. Like, if this would happen, it would help the trade route. If we blew up half our country, it would happen, right? Like, you can't see that shit happening to Venice? Sacrifice in the name of progress.
This disaster was so massive, thousands of people died that day.
Oh shit.
God.
And the city was effectively split into two halves. Zon remained
Oh my god.
as it was below, albeit being mostly in ruins. But above that,
They
a
built Piltover.
new city was born. It was called Piltover.
Oh
That is
my
insane.
god. That's crazy. That's crazy.
But don't we literally do that now? I maybe don't correct me if I'm wrong, but don't we literally build cities over other cities and just forget about the other cities that are below our literal cities? Just saying.
Fuck. So Zon was the OG people, and because of this tragedy, they built over it with Piltover. Shocking. Demacia hates mages. They have a special rock that absorbs magic, and a noble girl is a mage, and Noxus wants mages for their power. Yeah, well, don't worry. We'll be doing deep dives, I think, into the individual nations as well, because this is fucking brilliant, and I want to absorb all the lore. Piltover was built over. That's crazy.
For it was now sitting over the river Pilt.
Oh, it's over the river Pilt, so it's Piltover.
Next,
That's the tragedy, the river Pilt. And for the sake of progress, they ended up blowing up thousands of people and completely fucking over half of society.
we have the year 787. With more and more bad
Bro, wait. What happened in Chernobyl? So the Chernobyl disaster started here with the explosion of a reactor on the nuclear power plant. Yeah, that's kind of what this looked like. Like, for the sake of progress, there was a little bit of an oopsie in Reactor 4, and it blew up lots of people. Where they had to evacuate 50,000 people, and then 70,000 people. And it's, dude, insane.
Damn.
There's a series on this event. Yeah, it was a fucking tragedy. But it kind of does give that vibe, right? For the sake of progress, they accidentally blew up thousands. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Of course.
Washing up on their shores. Missionaries from the Buhuru granted these Pale-Langi outsiders refuge in the southern island base. While there were many years of cultural confusion, even including the name of the Serpent Isles, this settlement would eventually grow into a bustling port city in its own right.
That looks freaking beautiful. Oh my lord. It reminds me of some like Made in Abyss scenery, bro. That just looks beautiful. It's so huge. Looks a little destroyed and it could be flopped over at any moment, but that just looks so amazing to me.
Look at that art. Isn't this
Yeah,
gorgeous?
no, I just said that next nerd. Shut the fuck up.
Like, this is gorgeous.
In other
Jesus,
words,
that
I can't
the
believe
Buhuru
it.
were these advanced religious people that came here from Ishtal, just like they came to the Blessed Isles. But as more and more outsiders, who they called Pale-Langi, came to their islands, most of them coming from Piltover and Zone and usually seeking some form of treasures, the Buhuru gave them their own
Right.
island where they could do whatever they wanted.
Oh, that's nice.
And over time, as more and more people came, a settlement was built there, and that was eventually turned into Bilgewater.
Nice.
Okay.
Next, we have the year 984, the invasion of Ionia.
Ionia, like the swamp in Elden Ring?
Following many years of scouting and preparation, Grand General Borem Darkwill ordered a large-scale occupation of Ionia by Noxian forces.
That's it. Noxus, the brutal expansionist empire.
Yeah, they want to bring everybody under the ring peacefully. Right, peacefully.
That's what Noxus is. That's what Noxus is. They want peace and harmony and wholesomeness and inclusion and diversity and greatness and good shit. And they will force you to have a good life whether you like it or not. Like, you realize they frame it as a glorious land full of inclusivity and love, all under one great umbrella. And they will conquer people to make sure that that's the case.
Doesn't matter if you agree or not agree. You're just gonna die to them.
So the Romans, I mean, I didn't say it.
Although initially met with little resistance, the warhorse's brutal advancement across the provinces soon gave rise to fierce retaliations from various Ionian militias, which became more organized after the infamous Battle of the Placidium.
Noxian war doctrine is literally kill them until they become family. Holy shit.
Of course, everyone knows the invasion of Ionia. The story of most Ionian champions and a lot of Noxian champions as well explain this. So if you want to learn about what happened here, Irelia is the centerpiece. But other interesting champions include Riven, Kayn, Master Yi, and even Zed and Shen.
Yeah, I don't know any.
I feel like this story, the storyline has so much to it that even this 52-minute video, I still feel as though I barely know anything about anything. Oh my
guys,
god!
But I want to do lore dives into all the champions if we had 10,000 likes. So 10,000 likes.
But of course, there is one more champion who changed because of these events.
Uh-oh.
And that champion takes us to the last point on this timeline. Year 989. Jericho Swain seizes Noxus.
Who's that?
In spite of his dishonorable discharge from the military, former General Swain enacted a coup with the Noxian capital, disposing and killing Borem Darkwill. In less than a year, Swain had ended the occupation of Ionia, vastly reduced the influence of the noble houses, and established the Triferx Council to govern the empire.
Oh my
of course,
God.
the Triferx...
So he's like a man for the people kind of thing. Swain? He sounds like some pompous douchebag. Is he an Arcane? No, I don't think he's an Arcane. Unless he's gonna be the new main villain in the next season of
Oh my god.
Arcane. Or in, like he's in some future spinoff. Like, cause this is the right timeline. Crow Daddy? Alright, chat.
is the new
Hey, but give some respect to Itachi, okay?
way Noxus is led. Instead of
That
having
would be insane.
one Grand General who acts as a tyrant, and who could also be easily corrupted.
Oh, good. Much better.
Wayne made it a law that Noxus would always be led by 3 people.
Honestly, that's pretty fucking based. I mean, listen, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything, but that's pretty based, right? A lot of people think the crow that Jinx shot in season 1 was his. Interesting. But it's so funny how you have like this 3-eyed raven, the crow, Itachi's crows. Like, you have so many of these shits. But anyway, it is really interesting to see that like this is a positive, I'd say, progress for Noxus. I mean, obviously doing a coup d'etat and murdering a lot of the
I feel like the idea in certain perspectives is bad, but like they were literally killing people and making them be under their rule and following their rules and stuff like that. So like, you know, in a way they were technically evil. They were just making it seem like the good thing to do, but the good thing to do was to kill and force people to be under them. And someone said, no, that's not gonna happen with my people. So like,
nobles and shit is obviously not pog and not cool, but you can understand why he would have the perspective that you need a council of sorts, 3 people making decisions instead of 1 person that's easily corrupted. It's a lot harder to corrupt 3 people than it is to corrupt 1. Not impossible, but definitely harder. Like, I do respect that. Not for the rest of the world. Yeah, well, you gotta worry about yourself first.
Each representing 1 pillar of Noxus: vision, might, and guile.
That she's still alive? Bro, she's literally been wandering around for 1,000 years? She betrayed Mordekaiser. How long has she been around for?
Way with 3 leaders in charge.
All right, we gotta fucking do deep dives on literally every single one of these characters. Holy shit. She's bad? Like bad in the villain way or bad in the... I'm gonna go look her up on alternative websites after this way.
Noxus could never be corrupted. And this takes us to the present days. Because even though this is the end of the official timeline, there are stories that are happening right now.
Oh my god, there's so much lore, there's so many stories.
God,
the biggest one is the story of Silas.
I don't know who that is.
Who is currently pushing the story of Demacia forward in the present day.
What are these, Star Troopers?
Ooh.
But other present stories also include the story of Udyr and Volibear, the one where Udyr faced the Earth sign.
Okay, so this is Silas. I recognize him from the cinematics, because I did watch the cinematics and they were fucking awesome, right? This guy breaks into the city. So I guess he's like rebelling in some way against Demacia, I suppose.
But also
I guess my next video should be like watching all the cinematics or something along those lines.
The stories of Raven and Yasuo, called Confessions of a Broken Blade, and even Jin's escape. Because
this guy's so cool! So cool. By the way, I got some comments on my original like reaction to the cinematics. Apparently I was able to describe this guy's character perfectly just from the cinematics. Ladies and gentlemen, that is fucking banger character design. Like the fact that I see this guy and I'm like, this guy's like some maestro of mischief, some psychotic fucker. Like the fact that I was able to get it right just from the character design without hearing this guy speak or anything that he did is just a testament to how much love goes into this story and how good the lore is.
Because remember, even though the story of Jin, Zed, and Yasuo starts before the invasion of Ionia, between then and now, Jin was imprisoned and then he was freed. So during
God, we have to do lore dives on all these guys. It's not fair. It's not fair.
the present days, Zed and Shen are still hunting down Jin. But that is it for the official timeline of Runeterra. Finally, there should be no mistakes, and this video should serve as a guide for years to come.
Yeah, that's actually really, really good. Really, really good. So, when in the gameplay, you could use champions from every nation, even if they didn't overlap in their lifetimes. I mean, I suppose that makes sense. But, I am so here for future lore dives into Arcane.
I strongly doubt that Riot will change the timeline in the future. If anything, they may add to the timeline. As I said at the beginning, the only confusing bit is with Freljord. We are not exactly sure about the chronology of when the bridge in Holding Abyss was built, when the Watchers were sealed, and when Lysandra fought against her sisters. That entire part is still confusing, because Lysandra keeps screwing with the stories. Again, Lysandra
That is hilarious to me.
is a known liar. She is rewriting the stories to hide the truth.
Dude, that's so fucking awesome. I love that that's part of the lore, that you can't trust the storyteller.
So maybe the story is confusing on purpose. But if anything, we should trust the book. After all, the book was written as a summary of all the canon.
It makes it so much more real, the fact that she can just lie to you completely. 'Cause she is a person,
so we can
right?
assume that the Watchers became a threat, the sisters defeated them, they learned that Lysandra was favoring the Watchers, and then Avarosa and Serilda turned on Lysandra. That should be the canon version.
What an awesome
But with
story.
that is going to be it for this video.
Yeah.
There is
Damn.
definitely one more thing I want to talk about when it comes to this book. Because believe it or not, but there might be some hidden teasers of a new champion in the book. And because I was given an early copy, I had some time to look into it. But more on that in a future video.
Alright, well, anyway, that's 5 years in the past, so...
For now, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.
That was a banger. I'm
I wonder if he's making videos even now, like in 2024 or whatever.
really glad that we did this lore dive. I want to continue lore diving into League of Legends, but that is really up to you.
That
And,
is so true. He is so right. Subscribe to me. Subscribe to the Nightcron dude, Nightcry, whatever his name is, because he's great at storytelling. He explains everything so very well for little old me to understand and Nextner to understand. So subscribe to me, Nextner, him, like all the videos, comment on all the videos, and yeah, you can get another one of these videos because I really did enjoy this. Nextner or Nextaku, thank you for helping me talk because you were talking way more than I was talking because I don't know what the fuck to say. I was confused most of the video, but yeah, thank you. You know, yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah.